Hello everybody, we made it to Friday. We are going to be going over Thursday's math review. So go ahead and get your work ready so you can self-assess. We'll start with the first one. Mariska was decorating her room. She arranged 63 picture tiles on a wall in the shape of a rectangle. How many rows of tiles could be on the wall? So if she's arranging them into a rectangle, I already know that this is probably going to be like an array form. And we want this to have 63 picture tiles in total. So basically what we're looking for is one of the factors of 63. So I know that 63 ends in an odd number, so it can't be divided by 2 without a remainder. I know that the multiples of 5 either end in 0 or 5, and this one doesn't end in 0 or 5, so it can't be that. So now I'm left with 6 and 9. Well, I know that 6 times 10 gives me 60. 6 times 11 is going to give me 66, so that can't be it. So it must be D. Okay? So go ahead and check your work now. We know that 9 times 7 is equal to 63. So that makes sense. Let's go ahead and move along. We have an area and perimeter question. The area of a rectangle is 40 square feet. The length of the rectangle is 8 feet. What is the perimeter of the rectangle? So very similar to our POD from yesterday. So we know the area of the rectangle is 40 square feet. I'm going to draw my rectangle. And I'm going to write that the area is 40 square feet. The length of the rectangle is 8 feet. What is the perimeter? So not the width, but what is the perimeter? Well, we know that in a rectangle, we find area by multiplying length times width. We know our area is 40. We know our length is 8. So I'm asking myself what number times 8 gives me 40. And we know that is 5. So now we know this side is 5 and this side is 5. And we know opposite sides in a rectangle are the same. So I know that side is also 8. So we have 8 plus 8. And I'm going to find the perimeter by adding side by side plus side, all 4 sides. So 8 plus 8 gives me 16. And 5 plus 5 gives me 10. So if I add everything together, I get 26 feet for my perimeter. Go ahead and self-assess your work now. Let's move on to our line plot question. The line plot question reads, what is the difference between the longest and the shortest brick in inches? So we have this line plot which gives us the length of bricks, and I noticed that some spots have been filled in with X's, meaning that we have a brick that measures that, 2 bricks that measure this, so many bricks that measure this, and so on. If I'm finding the difference, it would mean I am subtracting. That's how I find the difference of things. And I'm finding the difference between the longest and the shortest. So the longest would be the last X on your line plot, and the shortest would be the first X on your line plot right here. So we get 7 and 7/8 minus 7 and 3/8. So I know that 7 minus 7 is going to give me 0, and now I have 7/8 minus 3/8, which gives me 4/8. 4/8 of an inch. Go ahead and self-assess your work now. Next up, we have a pattern question. Brady's teacher wrote a row of numbers with a pattern. We get the numbers down here. What is the rule of the pattern? So I noticed that it seems like first my numbers are increasing and then it decreases, increasing, decreasing. So it has an increase and decrease pattern. So I'm just going to write that increase, then decrease. So first the numbers go up in value and then they go down in value. So I'm going to look at the choices I have here and I'm going to eliminate the ones that don't match this. So increase, I see that as A and C, but I see the opposite in A and D. So I'm going to eliminate A and D. So now I'm going to try these out. Add by 5, subtract by 3. 21 plus 5, well, that doesn't match up. That doesn't give me 29. And if I was to add 5, this would be 26. And then if I was to subtract 26 minus 3, That would give me 23, not this. So that one definitely doesn't match. Let me try C. Add 8, 21 plus 8, yes, that gives me 29. Subtract 3, yes, that gives me 26. Let me try with the next one. Add 8, yes, that gives me 34. Subtract 3, yes, that gives me 3. Add 8, 39, yes, subtract 3, 36. Yep, that makes sense. So we know our answer is C. Okay. This is a much longer question, so we'll just read it quickly and we'll get straight to it. Draw a 165-degree angle labeled ABC and split it with a ray BD to divide it into an 80-degree angle, DBA. What is the measure of angle DBC? Okay, so if we're going to draw a 165-degree angle and we're going to split it with a ray, I have to make sure that I know that a ray looks like that. One endpoint, one side that continues forever. And when I do that, one of the angles is going to measure 80 degrees. Angle DBA will measure 80 degrees. So the other angle that I'm going to end up drawing, DBC, that's going to be something. But I can figure it out without even drawing it and measuring it because we know the total. So we're going to have 165 and we're going to subtract 80. So that's going to give us 5 minus 0, 5, and 16 minus 8 will give us 8. So that would give us an 85-degree angle. Okay. Okay, let's move along to the last question on our math review. Suppose that there is another group of shapes with no parallel or perpendicular sides. Circle the shapes that belong in that group. So we have no parallel or perpendicular sides. Okay, so first I want to start by finding the shapes that don't have perpendicular lines because I think that would be the easiest thing to do. Perpendicular sides would give us 90-degree angles, so they would give us right angles, perfect L's. Let's look through these choices and let's eliminate the ones that don't give us those perfect 90-degree angles. Or that do give us those 90-degree angles, sorry. So those I know wouldn't belong in that group that don't have that. So I see 90-degree angles here. So this one we can eliminate. Okay. And that is about it. Now we're also looking for shapes that have no parallel sides. So I know parallel means sides that can continue forever and never intersect, like this. Can look slanted. They can look vertical. Okay, so sides that will never meet. Well, let's take a look at this shape over here. It's trapezoid. Opposite sides will never intersect, only on this side, but it has at least one pair of parallel sides, so we can eliminate that one. So now we have these two choices here. I'm just going to draw my lines, extend the sides to see if they're going to intersect, and yes, they intersect here, so that doesn't have any parallel. I don't see any right angles there. And same with this one. Let's see if I continue this forever. Oop, they intersect, and they intersect. So that leads us to believe that this shape would belong in that group, and this shape would also belong in that group. So now go ahead and go get your POD. So here is our POD from yesterday. We already began to work on it, and today we'll just finish it up. So we have an area of a rectangular doghouse that is 15 square feet. We marked that. The length of the floor is 5 feet. We marked that. And now we're finding the perimeter, and these were the facts we organized. We know the area, we know the length, and we know the perimeter. That's what we have to find. And we know we have to add all the sides to find that. Another fact that we are given indirectly, like they don't really state it exactly, but we know that area is length times width. So that's going to help us find the missing side. So let's go ahead and jot that down. Area is equal to length times width. We know area is 15. And I'm just going to use this equation to plug in what I know and find the unknown. So we know that the length is 5 and I'm going to ask myself what number times 5 will give me 15. So I know that 3 times 5 gives me 15. So that would mean the width is 3. So this is not our final answer. This is just part of what we need to find out. That would be our first step. We found the width. But now our second step is to find the perimeter. So we will be adding up all the sides. So I have 5 plus 5 plus 3 plus 3. I like to do this where I just match up the numbers and simplify this for myself. So 5 plus 5 is 10. 3 plus 3 is 6. When I add these two together, that would give me a perimeter of 26 feet. Okay? So pretty easy. Let's move on to the next question down here. Wait, 10 plus 6, that doesn't give me 16, that gives me 26. I mean, that gives us 16. So let's just revise that. Good, 16. That makes sense. Alright, let's go ahead and read the part B. A second doghouse was built. The new doghouse has the same perimeter. Oh, so meaning the 16. But it is squared shape. So this one was rectangular shape. Now we're dealing with a square shape. What is the area of the second doghouse? So let's write our facts. We have the same perimeter. So I'm going to write P is equal to 16 feet. And we also know that it's square. So that's important because what do we know about squares? You're right. All the sides are the same. So let's draw that out. Square. And I'm just going to mark it like this, meaning all the sides are the same. That's the symbol we use. So if we know that the perimeter is 16 feet, how are we going to find out what one of the sides is equal to, what all these sides are equal to? Well, if I know that all these sides are the same, then one thing I can do is I can just divide it by 4. 16 divided by 4 would give us 4 feet. So that means all of these sides are each 4 feet. That makes sense because 4 plus 4 is 8, and 4 plus 4 is 8, and 8 plus 8 gives me 16, so that makes sense. But now we're finding the area. That's what our problem is asking us for, the area. So to find the area, I'm going to take one side 4, and I'm going to take another side 4, the length and the width. So 4 times 4 would give us 16 square feet. So we found a really cool shape that has the same perimeter and the same area. Good work today, guys.